So we are going to go ahead and move on to a few additional strategies. And again, thanks for all the great questions. We're going to talk about three main suggestions that I have for everybody that, like I said, I know can be executed by almost any business or company. And as we go along, I'll definitely comment on the tools I'm recommending and which ones work for actual physical locations, physical addresses, and which ones could also potentially work even if you weren't willing to put out your personal physical address. So the first one is Google My Business. And Google My Business has really been evolving over the last few years. I'm really digging into the new tools that they have been launching over the last few months. And if you're not familiar with Google My Business, it's what controls essentially the local listings on the Google search engine. And this applies to all devices. So you can see these two examples. If I search for JB Media Group, I will get their Google business listing, usually right on page 1 at the top. And it includes a lot of different things, including the address, the phone number, the name of the company, the reviews. You can see there's a posting feature that they've now added to this. One of the cool things that I've noticed is now you see this area right here. It says, know this place, answer quick questions. And then it says questions and answers, be the first to ask a question. So if you frequent a location or a business, you can actually go in and answer questions for people. I actually do this quite a bit just as somebody who likes to review things and interact. I use Google pretty frequently as well as TripAdvisor. So it's a mixture of if I've never been there or I'm going there for the first time and I have questions, I can ask them. But also if I'm frequently going to this business, I can answer things for people and give different information. So that's something that's really interesting. You can see there's some reviews from the web that are scraped into this listing. And then, of course, the actual Google reviews. And then, of course, all of this is linked into the maps. If I was on my phone, I would see website directions and click to call as my options. And so this is what we call the local 3-pack. And a lot of times, especially when you have a brick and mortar location, you want to be ranking somewhere in the maps. And if you have the opportunity, you want to eventually make it into the 3-pack, which will show up on page 1 of Google. So essentially, to get started with Google My Business, if you've never done it, you want to type in your company name or even type in your address and find your listing. If you have never claimed it before, then you want to claim it. If it's an unclaimed listing, you will basically be able to find on the listing here a little link somewhere on the side that says, are you the business owner or are you the owner of this business? And you can click that and it will walk you through the process of claiming your listing. So essentially when you claim your listing, you usually have one of two options. They'll either send you a postcard with a number on it and you can enter that number into your account and verify your listing. Or occasionally, depending on the type of industry or business you're in, they may also give you an option that if they call the phone number associated with your listing, they'll give you that code directly over the phone. Once you have access to the listing, you can edit all the information to ensure accuracy and consistency, and then you can make regular updates to the system so that your listing becomes more competitive. So the features that have always been part of this are the map listings, reviews, the ability to add photos and videos. And keep in mind that on Google My Business listings, as the owner of the company or organization, you can actually add photos and videos, but so can the people who visit your location. So a lot of times you'll see images popping up that someone else has submitted to that listing. You can manage multiple locations. So if you have more than one location for your company, you can do that all from one dashboard. You basically manage your name, address, and phone number, which is your NAP, and we're going to talk about the importance of that. And then, of course, you often are able to list your hours. And many times they will ask you to adjust your hours for the holidays directly on Google My Business so people can see that change on certain holidays. The new features that they've added over the last year to year and a half, they've made it really easy to add new users to manage your listing. So if you're working with marketing people, or you have multiple people on your team, you want them to have access, you can do that. They have a new chat messaging feature that I've just started playing around with, and it's pretty amazing. It allows you to receive messages from people directly through Google My Business, and it connects into your phone. So that you can actually chat literally on your phone with people. They have an appointment booking option for anyone whose business is taking appointments. presence. They allow you to run and connect in to your local Google AdWords ad management directly from Google My Business. They're allowing you to add posts regularly, like the one that I showed you for us. And then they also provide tracking and insights. And then the best thing about Google My Business is if you're a company that's new, you're a startup, you're just out the gate, you haven't had time to build a website yet, you can actually use their simple website builder. And now it's very templated and very limited. However, it would give you the option of creating an online presence till you were able to come up with the budget to create a more customized website. So I want to go ahead and just really quickly take a look at what this looks like live. So we're going to go ahead and log in to the JB Media account. So when I log in basically to the JB Media Google My Business, you can see I've got this left side menu. That's a very typical thing for Google tools to have. So always start clicking through these to get used to them. And you can see it just moves you through basically everything that you want to add to the system. So the home is more like a dashboard where you can quick access lots of different things. You'll see if customers are submitting photos, you'll be able to see those. And as you click through, you're able to take all the actions that we talked about. So I'm able to go ahead and add new posts to the listing, and you can see it's tracking out all of my previous posts. We actually share the digital drop-ins on here on a regular basis, and you can write your post, you can add an image, you can link to something. If you're doing events, you can post your event, and then you can add a call to action button and preview and publish that. You can edit your info at any time. I want to be clear though, when you edit your name, address, or phone number, you're going to have to re-verify your listing. So the NAP is very important, and if you're going to change that, you have to be just prepared for the listing to have a little bit of a delay and for you to have to re-verify. You've got tracking, you've got a place to look at all of your reviews. I'm going to suggest that everybody check their reviews regularly and respond to all of them as often as you can. Again, you have this new messaging feature. You've got the photos section, you've got the website template section, and you've got the place to add new users. As you scroll down, you'll see if I have multiple locations, I can add it directly through here. Once I have more than one location in my account, I can click Manage Locations and see that dashboard, choose which location I want to work on. And you have the Create an Ad option, which will connect you directly with Google AdWords if you are using it. And potentially you may also connect into something called AdWords Express, which is a version of AdWords that you would use if you didn't have a website. AdWords Express will allow you to promote your listing in different ways. So if there's any questions, feel free to chat them in, but we're going to keep moving through the content so we stay on time. And so the next thing I want to dig into is really that NAP issue, the name, address, phone number issue. So this is something that's incredibly important. The name, address, phone number that your business is associated with really needs to be consistent everywhere that it's found online in order to maintain authority and credibility. So let's say in the Google world, they really feel if your name, address, and phone number are not identical on all of your local citations, which are basically anywhere that your business is listed online, there's sort of a question, because there's three very basic pieces of information that people might need. So there's a few things you can do to make sure that your NAP is consistent across the board. And if you have an older business, I want to really encourage you to dig into this, because oftentimes the longer your company has been around, the more often websites have scraped information about your business and added it to a local listing. So you didn't necessarily create the listing, it's been scraped and then disseminated onto websites. So if your name, address, or phone number has changed over the years, it's incredibly important that you do these kind of checks periodically to make sure that there's no old, inaccurate information that's out there that could be giving the search engines the impression that you're not putting out accurate information. So you want to go ahead and use some tools to check that. Now, of course, if you wanted to save money, you could actually go ahead and just Google yourself and try to find everything. I would suggest Googling your name, your actual physical address, and your phone number, and trying to check as many listings as possible. Maybe spread it out over 6 months if you're going to do it manually, and just have a set time in which you do that manual work. But if you don't have time to do it manually and you have a little bit of a budget, you can use a couple different tools that would be useful. The first one is Moz Local. They have great educational content about what local SEO is and things that are related to it. So you can see here, local citations is any online mention of the name, address, and phone number for a local business. Citations can occur in directories, websites, apps, social media platforms, and they help internet users discover local businesses and can also impact your local rankings. So citations are something that are really big when you have a physical location that you want to focus on, so that your local listings will perform better and there will be more consistency and more links pointing back to your website. So Moz Local has a great free tool where you can check your business name and your postal code, and it will give you a free report. And this is just, like I said, a great way to do some manual work yourself, gather some data. They also have some free lists of different types of local citation sites. So if you're a newer business and you've never really worked on local SEO, but it really matters to you, then I would say go and take a look at their free citation listings. They have them listed by city and by category. Keep in mind, if you are in a smaller town or city, even like Asheville, you're probably not on the list because the population here just isn't big enough. So if I want information about citation sites that are popular in my region, I might need to look at Charlotte, North Carolina, not Asheville. So you want to sort of pick the biggest metro area near you and investigate what citation sites are popular there. And then you can also find out which citation sites are popular by industry. Moz also has some packages that you can use that will basically give you a tool that goes out and checks all your local citations and listings. It'll show you any discrepancies or things that are inaccurate. It'll also show you any listings that you haven't taken advantage of. So I would, suggest looking at this. It's $99 a year for their simplest package, which is really affordable. The other tool that I think is really strong is called Bright Local. They're similar to Moz. They have a great citation service that's free. It'll just, like I said, support your manual work if you don't have a budget for this. But you can also try Bright Local free for 14 days, and you could actually do a great deal of research, corrections, and management just in that first 2 weeks. You can see they also have paid options that you can use that are as low as $29 a month. And they do a lot more tracking inside of this system. So that's why it's a little bit more expensive than the Moz tool. And you can see here, it's going to audit your Google My Business. It's going to give you NAP reports, citation reports. It's going to help you look at your local SEO rankings, give you keyword reports and things like that. So if this is something that really matters to you, if your local listings are a way that you'll be driving a ton of traffic, then this might be worth the investment. And again, I just put a quick list of all the things that are included in their paid packages. And again, if I was a physical location like a restaurant or a salon or something of that nature where I could get foot traffic, this might be a really good SEO investment. And so the great thing about these guys is they do have a free live demo of their actual dashboard. So if you go to brightlocal.com and click on preview our dashboard now, you'll actually get to see what the system looks like. So I just want to suggest that if you're interested in this, give it a test drive, see what you think of it, and then go ahead and maybe try the free trial and, see if you want to continue forward. So you don't have to really commit to anything, and you can test out the system in a lot of different ways. So you can see here, they're using Domino's Pizza as an example. If you go into the view dashboard, it shows you, all the different pieces of data that you're giving you, how they integrate with Google My Business and so forth. So I know this has taken a moment to load. I apologize for the delay. But again, there's a lot of information in here. So reviews and ratings, you can connect to Google Analytics, you can connect to your social media, and you can get kind of a larger perspective on how you are performing from a local marketing kind of area, right? You can see all the different components of your local marketing coming together there. So we're just going to go back into the presentation so we can wrap up. The last thing that I want to talk about is local partnership marketing and thinking about how you can connect with the partners in your area that might be reaching out to similar audiences to you. So I've got a few key tips I'm going to give you. First, identify movers and shakers. So what other local brands or businesses know the same audiences and want the same audience as you, really understand the value of collaboration and are really active online and already have engaged audiences, right? Really responsive businesses that are really active, they are the ones that are the movers and shakers, and they are going to be the best partners for you in figuring out how you can help each other increase engagement, increase the number of links and shares and so forth that you're getting. Once you've identified those movers and shakers, you can start to put together kind of partnership plans. One would be really understanding social media sharing. So how can you tag and mention each other, share, retweet, and repost each other's content? How can you use multimedia? So not just text, but also images, video, live streams, collages, things like that. How can you come up with some real clear storytelling content ideas that will help you become more dynamic to your audiences? How can you participate in more real-time content? That's something that, especially if you are, nonprofits that are partnering on an event, or you're a for-profit partnering with a nonprofit, you can really come up with ways to be creative in real time and share what's going on with people. And then coming up with editorial calendars. So being clear on social media, what each partner wants to promote, and making sure that everyone will be able to, go in and promote things in a timely manner. Lastly, the thing I think you can take advantage of is Facebook event pages. So if you're using Facebook event pages, these can be really valuable for local businesses to come together and help promote each other. You can share each other's events on your business pages. You can actually add partner event pages to your business page. So I've given an example of this in the screenshot, right? You're going to go to the event of your partner, click on that ... and then click add to page. This way your business page will list your events, but also the events of your partners. You can attend each other's events and also RSVP to each other's Facebook events. So if you're going to go to a partner event to support them, make sure you go in and say that you're going. And then with event pages on Facebook, utilizing the discussions can be really valuable because everyone who has said they're interested or going will get updates when the discussion is updated. So think about how you can start those conversations and get more attention to those event pages and be really intentional about it. Have it in your editorial calendars, how often and when you're going to interact on that level. You can also do live event coverage with any local partners. So you can come together and attend each other's events and broadcast photos and videos. You can create cool things on Instagram and Facebook that are, slideshows, collages, boomerangs, all of that stuff. And if you have events that are going on with partners and they're sharing content while the event happens, but maybe you can't attend, one of the things that you can do is comment on that content, interact with that content. And when you have a really intentional goal around doing this, you can both activate each other's networks a little bit more and potentially increase engagement and increase reach. And just so you know, you may need to do it a few times before it works perfectly. So don't be afraid to test different strategies and see where you get traction and where you get the wins. So I know we're right at 1:00. If there's any questions, please chat them in. I think the main point that I want to make about local marketing, especially for small to medium-sized businesses, is don't go it alone. That's a big kind of thing that we focus on at the Institute here. When it comes to digital marketing, you don't want to silo yourself and be alone trying to accomplish your goals. It's really important to come together and think of ways that you can be supported and support others. And so you'll also have this list of resources that I've provided from our team here at the JB Media Institute. We have a lot of great things coming up, including a boot camp on April 10th. We have new cohorts beginning on April 3rd, new in-person classes on May 8th, and our next digital drop-in will be on April 4th. So dig into some of our free information, into our free digital marketing toolkit, and please join us anytime in the future to learn more about all aspects of digital marketing. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm glad to stay on the line just for a couple more minutes if there are any other questions, but I hope to see you again on a future digital drop-in, and please reach out to anyone here at the JB Media Institute in the future with your questions about how you can learn more and execute more of these strategies. Thanks so much and have a great day.